NASCAR rolls into Martinsville Speedway. The paper clip, some exciting close quarters short track action. I am joined once again by Ryan Stevens of Win the Race. Ryan, Tyler Reddick is on an incredible historic run to start this season, but perhaps Martinsville could be that speed bump, that roadblock as it's been for him in the past. He has never finished top 5 at Martinsville Speedway, looking to get his 5th win of the season. His 21.0 average finish at Martinsville is among the bottom of the league in the next gen era, but we do have a slightly different rules package this time around. It's the same tire combo as last fall, but there's a little added horsepower. Do you give Tyler Reddick a shot to keep the winning ways going on Sunday?
I don't think he can win here, but I mean, man, it has been fun. I like to look at the most recent races at Martinsville, when they started trying to bring some new tires to find more tire wear and things like that. So a lot of times, when we talk now, we're going to talk about the last 4 races mostly. He's got one top 10 in that time. He's outside the top 15 in average running position during that time. And while super speedways are unpredictable by nature, Reddick has always been good at Coda, always been good at Darlington. So we did see a path there where he could get it done in those tracks. Win the race had him number 1 last week before practice and qualifying, and then obviously again after practice and qualifying. We cannot say the same here for Martinsville. So while it's been a lot of fun, I think it's like, when we got to Phoenix, we're like, all right, got to pump the brakes a little bit. I think he'll be good. It could be stronger than we've seen here. Some of that momentum might carry over, but I don't think he gets the win this weekend.
Yeah, I agree. Top 10, that would feel like a win at Martinsville, the way Reddick has run here in recent years. Let's stick with Toyota. We'll go through each main manufacturer here, core team. Denny Hamlin won this race 1 year ago. Christopher Bell has won here before. Bubba Wallace won here in trucks a couple times. Ty Gibbs, red hot right now. Do you think Toyota will continue their dominant start to the season at Martinsville?
Yeah, I think they'll be very strong. Denny, I'll just kind of go through them here and drop some stats. Denny is expected to be very strong again. One of only 4 drivers to run over 50% of their laps inside the top 5 over the last 4 races here. Chase Briscoe in that time, 7th in average running position, and that's with 2 different teams. So he could just show up and, be good here. Bubba, just behind him, 8th in average running position over the last 2 years here. And somewhat of a spring specialist, finished top 5 in the last 2 spring races. Bell started on the pole here, finished 2nd last spring, and we just saw how strong he was in this, package of Phoenix. But that's expected there, I guess, with Bell. But nonetheless, Ty Gibbs, he's the one trending in the right direction here, overall. Last year, ran over 50% of his laps inside the top 10 in the spring, finished 13th. Then in the fall, runs over 70% of his laps inside the top 10 and finishes 12th. And now you take the speed this team's bringing and the momentum that they have, and I think Ty Gibbs is very live, for a top 10 run this weekend.
That's a great point, actually. Yeah, I would not be shocked if he gets his 5th straight 6th place or better finish the way they've been running lately. Let's talk about Chevrolet. They still are looking for their first Cup Series win of the season, but last time we raced at Martinsville, it was William Byron who did what we all thought was impossible. He ran down Ryan Blaney at a short flat track on the long run to win his way into the championship 4. William Byron has 3 Martinsville wins in the next-gen era. Where do you rank Byron among the favorites? Because for me, he's the Hendrick driver that stands out above the rest coming into the weekend.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the favorites here on Win the Race. We're just a little overall skeptical of where the team is right now. What I took out of his interview last week after the race is that they're making strides with this new body, but it just sounds to him and to myself from hearing it, they're just not close to where they want to be right now. But I'm not sure how much that will matter here at Martinsville. So I think he still needs to be in that conversation as a favorite this weekend. We come here with the same tire and similar weather conditions as the fall race last year, where he started first, finished first. So yeah, I think he'll be ready to roll come Sunday.
Yeah, I have Byron kind of as the top Chevy, top Hendrick guy. Then I'd probably go like Chase Elliott, who was really good here last spring. Larson has had some great runs. He's had some bad runs. Ross Chastain, I think, of the other non-Hendrick Chevys probably is the best. I just don't know if I trust Trackhouse. Spire's been pretty fast the first few weeks. What are the chances Hendrick gets their first win this season? Just looking at that team more broadly.
I think if you did think that Byron would be the guy, the difference between him, like you said, and then the Elliott Larson type is that Byron's been the one that shows up with a car that just kind of smokes the field and wins the race here at Martinsville. I was actually there, 3, 4 years ago now, and just watched him do it live. It was incredible. Elliott and Larson are the consistent top five machines here. So they're great, but they're just finishing top five in these races, top five, top three type. Beyond that, I'm not really sold on Chastain yet this season. I've been more impressed. Like you mentioned, Team Spire. That's the team that's really impressing me right now. Hocevar at the end of last week. I mean, she was blowing through the field, fastest car on the track to end that race. I mean, guys got some speed. And then Daniel Suarez. He's got speed everywhere now. Neither of them have been great at Martinsville. But one thing I thought was interesting, at least, and I know a lot happened in that clash. Suarez finished top five in the clash. So it's kind of cool to see, like, season starts like that. And I know there was, some mayhem there and sleet and whatever else, but still, his season started out hot. He's had speed everywhere they've gone. And it's been really cool to see this season for Daniel Suarez.
I'm glad you mentioned Spire. That is a great point. Yeah, I don't know how many similarities there will be between Bowman Gray and Martinsville. They're both, hard on the brake, short, tight tracks. But yeah, but even before the wet, Carson Hocevar was bully balling his way into the top five. I think Daniel Suarez was in the top five even before the wet, slick conditions hit. So yeah, Spire, those cars, they shot out of a cannon first short track of the year, maybe the second short track. We'll see similar success. Great point there. Let's talk Ford. Wrap it up with Ford. Last but certainly not least, they've looked pretty good as a complete OEM the first few weeks this year. Ryan Blaney, of course, leading the way per usual. And you look at him at Martinsville, immediately all eyes go to the 12. He's averaged a top five finish here the last few years. So where does Ryan Blaney? We've talked about Hamlin, Byron. Where does Blaney stack up among the favorites coming in, and how does that compare to his Penske teammates?
Yeah, he's great at Martinsville. And, while his most dominant runs have come in those playoff races, he's still only behind, those top five machines I mentioned earlier, Elliott and Larson, in average finish over the last four races here. And then if we shift outside of him, we'll talk about those guys being the top five machines. We go to a top 10 machine in his teammate, Joey Logano. Since stage racing started in 2017, it's a 17 race sample at Martinsville. He's missed the top 10 only twice. And those were the first and four races in those samples. So we're at 13 straight top 10s here for Logano now.
Wow.
And in both races, he didn't finish top 10. He finished top 10 in both stages. So it's not like he wasn't there. Something just happened. So, you know, and then for Cindric, outside of a few good fall runs here, I'd say he's average to above average here, but nothing like we can say, with Logano's top 10 streak or Blaney going out there and, winning these races and running up front.
RFK Racing being fast the last few weeks have really bolstered Ford's overall efforts. Ryan Preece last year finished 7th and 6th in the two races here. His first race is here with RFK Racing. He won at Bowman Gray, going back to that comp earlier in the season. Would you be surprised if an RFK car wins this weekend?
The only driver in RFK I think I'd give a chance to win would be Ryan Preece. Yeah, you mentioned his recent finishes here with RFK, top tens last year. And we know this is the type of track we try to target him on. He has been clear about, he's not afraid of extra tire wear. He's not afraid of the extra horsepower. He encourages it. So I hope we see that. And we've seen with Ryan Preece, like some other drivers, like a Blaney, we get late in these runs, he's passing people on tires that he's, preserved to that time. So I like Ryan Preece a lot this weekend. I actually did bet him to finish top 10. So I really like Ryan Preece this weekend. He'd be my pick in RFK if there's going to be anyone running top five.
We'll wrap up with our dark horse picks here. And man, coming into the show, I was actually thinking Austin Cindric. I've seen the numbers you've seen, maybe not to the same depth you've seen them. He's had some decent runs here. He's had some not so great runs here, but I just feel like he's had top 10, top 15 speed almost every week to start this season, and just a lot of things have gone against them. But we finally saw a clean race at Darlington, and he finished top 5. So I just feel like Cindric's team has good speed, but gosh, you kind of sold me on Spire a little. I think the new Chevy body, it's not going to impact the aero so much at a track like Martinsville. And what you mentioned about Bowman Gray, I'm going to be watching especially the 7 and the 77 really closely on Sunday. But I don't mean to step on your toes here. Who's your sleeper pick heading into Martinsville? Who do you have your eye on?
Well, last week we tried to be a little funky, and I'll never go back to RCR.
Oh,
I'll promise your listeners that right now. And when they qualified 8th and 10th, I did text you and I said,
Yeah.
okay, maybe we're on to something. That ended up being dead wrong. So I'm going to switch here. We'll go back to a Ford team. And we'll mention Todd Gilliland here. So not to win, but maybe a sneaky top 10 finish or something. He did finish top 10 in both races here last year, and he started 16th and 25th in those races and still made it happen. And in the 8 Gen 7 races here at Martinsville, of all active drivers, he actually has the 12th best average finish at Martinsville. So, you know, it's not too far-fetched to think, this team, even though kind of look at this year and they've been a little, down, I think this might be a place they're very comfortable with and come here with a nice setup. So, yeah, give me Todd Gilliland to surprise here, maybe run top 15 and finish top 10 again at Martinsville.
And Todd Gilliland, he won a truck race back in the day with KBM at Martinsville Speedway. I think that was where the infamous Kyle Busch stay in your motor home line. But hey, he got the win. So he's got some good short track prowess at a place like this. And RCR, man, maybe if this is the week, knowing us, this will be the week they do finally score a top 10 finish.
Yeah.
I think I saw the Seth Eggert, reporter Seth Eggert stat that this is only the second time ever RCR has gone into week 7 without a top 10 finish on this season. So
I saw that, yeah. And Austin Dillon has flashed, early Gen 7 Martinsville races. He's got some, I don't know if it's top 5, but I know he's got top 10 finishes here. So I just couldn't do it again. We'll take our time here and go with someone else.
That's one of those we gotta, there might be good value out there on the RCR guys, maybe, I don't know, but it's one of those I gotta see it to believe it at this point. Thank you as always for doing this. Always good talking to you ahead of the race weekend, bringing a lot of good information, a lot of great insight. Fans, if you're looking for even more from Ryan, you can find it at wintherace.info. A lot of really awesome customizable tools on there that I take advantage of on a weekly basis. So I encourage you to check that out as well. And Ryan, every Wednesday night, I know you, Phil, and Tino do the draft on YouTube. How's that been going? What can fans look forward to there?
Going great. It's growing. So thank you. And thank everyone for tuning in and checking it out, throughout your week. And I hope it helps you on the weekend. But yeah, we each draft one driver from 8 teams and then make a bonus selection. So we're talking about a lot of different teams, a lot of different drivers, a lot of different strategy. And whether you're doing fantasy games or just want to hear some race talk throughout the week, check it out. It's fun. It's a fun show. So that's what we kind of pride ourselves in. It's not like we're out there giving picks. It's for fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good show. Definitely go check that out. Thank you, everyone, for watching this episode. Thank you, as always, for stopping by, Ryan, and we'll catch up again real soon.
Appreciate it. Everyone enjoy Martinsville.